Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for the 66th episode of the Podwans podcast. I'm your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Luke.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And Hereth Productions.
What's up, everybody?
Hope everyone's having a great day so far. Today, we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 10 of Star Wars Rebels, a.k.a. Path of the Jedi. We got a good handful of guests here to talk about all things Jedi lore and Kanan, Ezra, and everything that follows in between. So, Luke, Hereth, are we ready to get the show going?
Hell yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's go.
The Jedi Knights are all but destroyed, and yet your task is not complete, Inquisitor. The Emperor has foreseen a new threat rising against him. The Podwans Podcast.
And indeed, the Podwans Podcast is a threat. Let's bring in our guests for today, or unless Luke, are you going to be talking about something in particular
we're gonna
afterwards?
Do that after they
Okay.
they're gonna pop in.
All right. So our first guest today, he is the reigning Podwans Podcast Star Wars Trivia Champion. He's been on many of our shows. He's been a big supporter of us, and we have been a big supporter of his shows and content creating. So let's bring in Pep at Element7.
Hi.
_ Gain. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good, good. Are you ready to talk about some Jedi lore today?
Absolutely. Also, why does our Jedi episode have to be Order 66?
I know. I did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I mean,
weird
if
how
I-
that worked out.
If I would have taken out the interview, if I would have taken out the podcast with Carter talking about Rebels, that one time it would be 65. But you know, it
Thanks,
is what it
Carter, for
is.
that one.
Yeah, because not every good story has to end with smiles, okay?
Oh, jeez.
That's true.
Mm.
Anyway, Element, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Underscore Element7 underscore on TikTok and Twitter. An extra underscore at the end on Instagram. And of course, youtube.com/DietInTheForce.
Yes, sir. Go check out their stuff. They're awesome.
All right. And our second guest today, we're going to bring in the second part of Element's dyad. He was the former Podwans Podcast Star Wars Trivia Champion. And he has been also a big supporter of our channel, and he's been on many of our reactions for House of the Dragon. And he's just been an amazing person to be around with in the Star Wars community. Let's bring in Darth Choco.
Say it. Thanks for inviting me.
Bastard!
Tia gasp.
That's enough slicing. Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Fantastic, terrific, great. Yourself?
Good, good. Where can the good people find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm Darth Choco on TikTok, Darth Choco on YouTube, Darth Choco 7 on Twitter, and you can check out the Diet in the Force podcast, which is Saturday. So in a couple of days here with me and this guy over here. I never know if it's mirrored or not. As well as the High Ground podcast, which is going to be excellent this upcoming week because Andor is great.
There you go.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad you're here. And our third guest of today's episode, he has been on many of our shows. He's been on an Andor reaction. He's been on plenty of rewatches and watch-alongs, and I'm just so happy that he's here because whenever this specific person is here, he brings so much energy. He ampens up the crowd, and more to say less, his Twitch stream is even better too. Let's bring in Cal at Calforer.
Calforer.
Oh, jeez, man! You didn't have to talk me up like that.
Calforer.
I have to. It's only showing
Calforer.
gratitude for
Calforer.
you
About
doing
to drop
what
some
you do
mad
best.
statistics with Chase during a trivia match.
Oh, Jesus.
true.
Yeah,
That
hey,
happened.
I will say, having Cal and Chase and Nidra as like the crowd was quite humorous for that night.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I have a tattoo right here on my chest that says "Never tell me the odds," and Cal did exactly the opposite of that.
I felt like that's why I had to that night. I'm like, okay, well now I actually have to like do math.
Yeah. So for context, so when we had our Star Wars trivia finale with Choco facing Element, there was a time where we had a wheel and we landed on Star Wars Resistance 3 times in a row, and Cal said that was a 1 out of 800 chance of that happening. and it just blew my mind. So he had to throw out that math, throw out that knowledge, and he's here today to talk about more Jedi.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
Cal, I need to get one of those sweater.
Oh, just
sort of things.
the hoodie vests.
Yeah. No, I
Because Choco swole. He needs to let the muscles out.
it's
I mean, there's a
because
reason why I'm still wearing
Choco
a t-shirt under it.
Choco is a huge fan of Ben Riley from the old Spider-Man, and he's got like a blue one, right? I'm gonna do
Yeah.
some low key Ben Riley cosplay just in my everyday life.
There you go.
Dang straight.
yeah.
Cal, where can the good people follow you on social medias?
Pretty much everywhere is just Calforer. I like, honestly, Pep makes me want to put underscores into everything just to be a part of the underscore gang, but
It's a cool game.
it is a cool
It is a
gang.
very
But nah, it is
cool
just
game.
It's not as
Calforer
cool
pretty
as
sure.
having your name, but it's a close second.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Absolutely.
badass. Just being like, all right, this is my legal name. I'm wearing it with my whole chest.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But
not a lot of-
underscores do add a little bit of flair. Let me just say that.
They do add
Yeah.
a little bit of flair.
It's true.
But
Hey, it's more than enough to have the we added the 7.
Yeah.
that's true.
And that wasn't planned either. That was the best part.
That was before we met.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I've had these names for years.
Jesus, man, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Before we get into the episode, we have a little bit of a announcement.
We do.
As some of you may know, we are getting closer and closer to our goal of 1,000 subs.
You will know.
With that being said, we are planning a 12-hour stream to celebrate 1,000 subs. We'll have more details when it gets closer of when this will be. It might not be right when we hit 1,000. It might be closer to like 2 weeks after, so we can get prepared and do fun stuff. Get people lined up to be guests for segments and stuff like that. But that is the big news. 12-hour stream once we hit 1,000. But again, I would like to thank everybody that has supported the channel. Every single guest that has been on the show, all of our followers on all of our social media. You guys are freaking amazing. And I never thought that I would start a podcast and have it be somewhat successful.
Yeah.
So
You
it's-
guys are equally amazing. I mean, you guys are just as much to credit for the growth.
Hey,
I
you.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
we try.
66 episodes ain't nothing to shake a stick at, and not only that, but you also have the DNA of They Fly Now that's running through this podcast now, and that's
Yeah.
one of the things that's making it good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this wouldn't even be a possibility without all of you guys. The fact that we're going to be hitting this milestone probably within the next month is insane. I had no idea that it was going to be this soon. But it's
No.
from the support of all of you guys and the love from our reactions, our watch-alongs, our episodes. It's just been phenomenal. So thank you guys so much.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But let's get into this episode. Cal, with it you being your first official time on
Yeah.
an episode of the podcast, we're gonna start the segment with you. So you have 2 sentences. You have to describe this episode in 2 sentences or less. Go.
That's tough.
Is that half underscore game?
Maybe.
It's an underscored.
It's
thought
sevens
process.
Is that
and-
hyphen game?
It's
Hyphen game?
sevens and underscore at the same time. I'm trying to like pull thoughts from Pep's head right now. No, I mean, it really is just an eye-opening, poetic entry in Force lore, and just what it means to be master and apprentice in a way as well. I guess the 2 sentences I'm bound to at that point.
Interesting.
But I have more to say.
Choco.
Jedi life ain't easy, but it's worth it.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
Hashtag worth.
Hashtag worth. Um,
Kenny
Element.
just brought up something really good with Ezra getting his first lightsaber. Just Ezra builds a gun.
Yeah,
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, pretty much. Element, what are your what's your
My two
thoughts?
sentences
Yeah,
is this episode has everything in it to dispel every misconception you have about the Jedi.
interesting. Man, they're going more philosophical instead of funny this week. They're dropping knowledge. I kind of like that.
Philosophical and funny at the same time, man. Just on mutually exclusive terms.
Have you not seen Yoda?
Did you not see my poor hand positioning? Yeah. it can be awkward and funny and prophetic.
Exactly. Hereth.
Just don't do this, you know.
Oh my god. Mine would be facing your fears can sometimes be worth it because you can get a Glock.
Damn it.
Make my way through the temple.
That does make sense coming from Hereth.
It does.
Yeah.
Hereth
does. That
logs
tracks.
into GTA with a Glock in his head.
Yeah. But, my God. Okay. Char.
I'd say kid has nightmares and he builds a little light stick.
I'll do you one better.
Oh, is that right?
Master learns to have self-confidence. Padawan builds a Glock that also turns into a lightsaber. Bam.
Call it a Glock stick.
Glock stick. A Glock saber. Oh, Glock saber.
Glock saber.
Saber.
Yes.
Yes,
I like it.
Glock saber.
I approve of this message.
Glock saber. Let's go to the chat.
Kyber
Kenny?
45 ACP rounds.
Darthman86, Kenny, thank you for always showing up. Pat,
The
Bait.
sister.
we will be coming into contact with you about something.
Call it the 3030 lightsaber.
Alanis, Michelle is finding
Alanis's
Halcyon. Thank you for joining us. Brian with
Hello.
the beard. Brian, and nobody else has shown up, so there we go. Those are the only ones we're calling up. All right, so let's get into the meat of this episode. I'm going to go first with the story. All right. So, story of this episode. Long and short. It's basically
Were those
Ezra-
dinosaur bones? I'm sorry. I just got to ask the transition. Were those dinosaur bones?
I don't fucking know.
No, wait, I
It's
don't
the
know. No idea
Matrix
what's going
meets
on.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I
You're here
think
for
so.
it.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I don't know.
I think there
Blame
were some Beast Wars in there as well.
Yeah, something. Basically, like everybody summarized, it's like this episode is Ezra and Kanan. They're both learning how to be master and apprentice even more in this episode, and they learn how to grow out of themselves. One, Kanan learns that he needs to get out of his own way and know what he's teaching Ezra is really good, instead of always doubting himself. And then Ezra has to learn how to let go, just like every other Jedi that has really faced anything in of the saga, is just letting go of that fear of being alone or losing somebody. And I feel like that's very, very on point for Star Wars. And you see that a lot with Darkseid, with the antagonist hero or protagonist hero going into danger, learning something, trying to get out of their own head and kind of moving past that obstacle. So obviously, talking about the cave, Ezra's biggest fear is being alone. If you guys were in the same situation as Ezra, what would you in the situation? What do you think you would see, and what is your biggest fear?
I have a serious answer and a joke answer.
Let's go with the joke first.
Let's go
Let's go
joke first,
joke.
and then you can hit us where we
Just
hurt.
big sharks. That's what it'd be. I'd be like, oh no, shark!
Sharknado.
Run! Yeah, it'd be terrifying.
Sharknado.
Not George R. Martin and Sharknado 5.
No, but in a lot of ways, I think it would actually be fairly similar to Ezra, in a lot of ways for me, because I think the thing that always scares me the most is not just like the unknown, but like being alone in it. That can be pretty crippling. Thinking like, stranded out at sea where you can't see land on anywhere in the horizon and nothing below you, and just being alone, right? Or drifting out in space just alone away from everything.
Oh, that would be my number one fear. Like my fear of death is like dying in space.
Oh yeah, I mean just
Oh, it'd
like
be so scary.
yeah. So I think fundamentally being alone is really just genuinely terrifying, but I think in a lot of ways the way Ezra kind of talks himself up about it is not only just a good message in general to anybody met with any form of failure, but when he says, I'm alone, I've been alone my whole life, I know how to deal with this, I know I'll be okay at the end of the day, now I need to go help Kanan and stuff like that. And so like for him to have that revelation of like, I've survived this trauma before, I know how to, is super huge. And so I think that like in a lot of ways I would be kind of in a similar headspace as that. But
Gotcha.
sharks.
Baby Sharks specifically, is that song just
No.
always coming through your head and frightening you? Because that would
No.
be me.
It's like the big ones that have lot of teeth.
A lot of teeth. Brandon.
Bumblebees.
Really?
I don't know why. I'm afraid.
I
of
hate
bumblebees.
bees too.
Not
I know.
the
So
bees!
much.
Not the
Here's,
bees!
here's the thing. I am not afraid of regular bees, and I'm not afraid of wasps. And bumblebees can't do anything to you, but I hate them so much. I have almost jumped into
They're
traffic
big and furry.
because, I've almost jumped into traffic because I was walking down the street, and then there was like a bunch of like buzzing, and I look at the bush, and they were swarming around it, and I just go, "Wah!" and I yeet myself off the sidewalk.
They are
yeah.
deceptively loud though, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they are.
You wouldn't expect
Um,
something so fluffy and small to be so like buzzy and loud.
I just don't want them to touch me. Just do that thing over there, But inside the temple, what I would probably be seeing is friends and family around me all dying, and I'm unable to save them. Like I'm right there, but I just was a hair too slow every time, no matter what I tried. I think that would be mine.
It's crazy that's also like the second part of what Ezra sees.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
Essentially.
No, absolutely it is. Pep?
It's sort of the same thing that I was thinking about. If you were to ask me a couple of years ago what this would be, if this question, I would say failure. But ever since Last Jedi, it's the greatest teacher. So I've learned to overcome that. But I'd say isolation, which is something more akin to what Choco said, because loneliness can be solved. You can take steps to not be lonely, but isolation in the form of what I would see in the cave is everyone disappearing. So I'm a huge community and family person, and if I just saw everyone disappearing and I had no one left, like if I'm feeling lonely, I can hit up my friends, I can hit up my family, we can spend time. But if everyone just disappeared and there was no kind of like avenue to solve the loneliness, and you were just isolated, and then add on top of that the open ocean, because I'm terrified of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
You live in California.
Not
I mean,
in the
I'm
ocean.
okay. I'm okay in the beach and like and water. But if you're in
Okay.
the open ocean and
Okay,
a
where
large
there's-
shadow
Okay.
just like swims underneath you, and you're like, "What is that?" I've been whale watching too, and like whenever it gets close, I'm like, "That's bigger underwater than it looks like on surface."
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things that we don't know in the ocean. First of all, that's the largest unexplored area on Earth.
Yes.
And just being there, like you don't see land around you. You're just in the open water. There's nowhere to go. It's terrifying.
Yeah, could you imagine, like, being in the temple, seeing all of your loved ones, your friends, and stuff like that, and then slowly stop hearing them, looking around, and they're just all not there?
And we start turning
The
away from you and
ground
start.
crumbles out from under you, and you just land in the middle of an ocean, and just there's nothing around. Dude,
Yes.
no thanks.
Okay, I got it. I got
Oh,
it.
no.
It's you and
No.
it's you and your friends and your family. But you're in space, like on a spacewalk, and you've been separated, and you're watching everyone slowly drift away from you, and there's nothing for you to get momentum on,
Bro.
and they're just going
Don't.
further and further and
Oh,
further. I feel like that's all of ours mixed up into one.
it is, and
Oh,
it's
like
the
gravity.
perfect trauma. So thank you.
Gravity.
I love
Sorry.
how this changed from like let's talk about Star Wars and just what's your biggest fear?
This just make people sad. Yeah, that's what I like.
How could we traumatize you?
I mean, if you weren't thinking that was as an answer, I'm sorry, because I was on that page originally.
Okay, Hereth. What's yours?
Literally what Pep said.
All right. Well, we're all really afraid of being alone, it sounds like. So don't abandon us, because it might not go well. So, Char, what's yours?
Honestly, verbatim with what Choco said. Just being the fear of losing everyone that you've ever cared about, or the ones that are closest to you.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying because you know that because if you have the ability to not be able to do anything about it, that's the worst part. Because eventually in due time everyone has to pass on. But if there is an opportunity for you to be able to help or impact that in a way, and you can't, like there's like these imaginary chains that are binding you, and it's a little terrifying in a way, because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
because despite how much you care about them, there's always that fear that there's something holding you back. But then you got to let that go.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
just exactly what Choco said. Just the fear of losing the people that you love. So
Mine would be a combination of Choco and elements. Like not being able to help the people that I love the most, and then like also losing everybody. Dude, I wouldn't have survived the blip. If I would have been like, if everybody around me had blimped out, I would have been like, what the fuck? What? Are you kidding me right
I
now?
thought you meant the other way around. I was about to say, it's like, yeah, if you got blipped, you wouldn't survive.
No. Like if like everybody that I knew like blipped and I was still here, I'd be like, what the fuck? Are you
He'd
kidding
be
me?
unsubscribing.
That has some really
Yeah, no.
really tragic implications on the people that came back from being blipped.
Yeah.
And what
So
they
like
found.
what space, yeah, what would they come back to find?
And you already gone through all this growth of emotions, and it's back, and you're just like, how do I recover?
I mean, look at Yelena when she comes back in Hawkeye. The episode that she shows up in Hawkeye.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
she
but
just,
like it
comes back and like, what the hell?
definitely could have come back to like a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of more what I was getting at, of like coming back and they were upset that everybody else was gone and you came back and now they're gone.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just ooh.
Yeah.
all because of a snap of a goddamn finger.
Yeah, fucker. I just yeah. Usually we don't get that dark, but like, hey, I mean, and so like my funny one would actually be rats, like dying
Really?
of like rats. Like I have an ungodly fear of rats. No idea why, but I just do.
Yeah, mine's wasps. Mine's wasps, 100%. Every time I see those goddamn dangling legs, I want to punch that thing so hard or sprint away. It is. I hate wasps.
Yeah.
My funny one would be clowns.
Ooh.
Come on, Zombieland, grab a hammer.
You'll float too.
You'll float too. Oh, have you watched it?
Pep, what's your irrational fear now?
Yeah.
Irrational fear.
Well, one could argue that it's rational to the person with said fear.
I don't know.
I mean-
Sharks are irrational fear. Bumblebees are not.
I wouldn't call these fears, but rather, life caveats. It's the same with Choco. It's like the bumblebee can't really do anything to me, but like a big fur ball of a bee, just like I duck away and I'm like, oh gosh, just like leave me alone. Same with wasps. I'm not scared of wasps, but if it's in my vicinity, I'm like I try to like steer
rather
clear
he
of
not
it
be
and
there.
get out of its way.
Yeah.
Even spiders. The only time I've actually been really scared of a spider is when I saw a black widow on my stomach, like waking up.
Oh hell no.
Fuck that.
I mean, I'm not afraid of spiders either, but I'm instantly going, what the fuck? That's instant.
Well, I was freaked out. My girlfriend at the time, which is my ex, was a huge nature person, and she was like, "Stop," and I was like, "Okay," and she took it like by the hand and then put it in like a cup, and then brought it outside. I was like, "What the hell just happened?"
I feel like
You just handed a freaking black widow.
Yeah.
I feel like I wake up too violently. I would have died. Yeah. Time to get up for the day. Dead. It already bit me.
That you say that just reminds me of this this thing that happened when we were living up in Sacramento area. People
happened up in
came and they were
Sacramento.
like spraying for spiders and bugs and stuff. And my household decided we didn't want to be sprayed, but all the other houses around us were sprayed. So then our house is where they all came. So we're watching TV, and a spider nest hatches, and so there's all these baby spiders like ballooning and floating across as we're sitting, and we're like, what is happening? Like
You got a knobby white spider herd.
Yeah, that's haunting.
Yeah, that happened to me up in Roseville. So.
Yep, it was in Roseville.
It
happens. Roseville's wild. There's packs of
Dyad
wild
moment.
goose that just like that'll mess you up. It's crazy.
But it's the same vein as Van Skywalker. It's like I'm okay with spiders generally. I'll kill them. They're not gonna make me jump. But if they're like the poisonous kind, I freak the hell out.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Everybody in the chat, let us know throughout the episode what your guys' biggest fear is. You guys can answer the. Yeah. Welcome to Padawan's podcast, Fear Factor. Tonight, our contestants are gonna deal with their biggest fears.
Hey,
One's gonna be in the ocean with a shark.
No, thanks.
One's gonna deal with clowns.
My name's Joe Rogan. And
If you want to
this
see
is
me
Fear Factor.
actively shut down as a human being,
Go
do
to an
that.
aquarium.
No. No.
Do you love the
Aquariums
aquarium?
are fine. Oh yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But no. Now it's like it's fitting. It's October. We're talking about spooky stuff now.
Hey, spooky.
Very
See
spooky.
everything first. This is our 66th episode. Episode 66. Order 66. Path of the Jedi.
Execute order
Order
66.
Where's the
It will be
sign-up
done,
sheet
my
for
lord.
Fear Pod One? All right.
Pod One's Fearcast.
I'm here for that.
That should be our 12-hour stream.
Yeah.
Just us doing. Oh God, no.
Playing
That's
horror
some horror
games. Some
games.
shit.
Let's reciprocate. Let's reciprocate.
Oh my
Reciprocate.
God.
Let's reciprocate. Why am I having such a hard time saying this word? I'm like Luke right
trying to do
now.
an
Emotional damage.
Let's reciprocate with what
All right,
this.
we're just nope.
The
nope, we're
bit's
done.
over.
Yep, the
Let's
bit's
No,
go.
over.
the moment
Next
lost.
question.
You're
I'm gonna put a-
beating the dead
Let's
horse.
put a Black
Let
Widow
it,
on my head and see what happens.
Let it lie. Let it die.
It's like
Okay.
golf clap.
It's like the drama classes. Die.
Or just like Kylo Ren. Let it die. Come on. Anyway. So
No,
I mean,
you're
throughout
still
the,
holding on.
Yeah, you're still holding on. Let go. So we see through the episode, towards the later half of it, we see both Kanan and Ezra commune with Master Yoda in the temple. My question is, do you think Yoda has communed with any other Jedi in a similar way during this time period, excluding Obi-Wan?
Quinlan Voss.
Ooh. How?
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. If you're gonna come up with that, how do you think do you think it was through a similar vein, or how do you think he communed with them?
The same way he does. So okay, we've seen this once before in Voices Destiny Sacrifice from Qui-Gon. You know, the Firefly thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's fireflies, but it's that.
Will-o-wisp-ish.
Yeah, and I think that's how he communicates with anybody that doesn't have the ability or to perceive their projection, because later on Ezra gets more powerful. He can see, but yeah, he floats around in those will-o-wisps and just like sparkles with. And this is like, you know, testament to Yoda's power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Qui-Gon does it as part of the living force. Yoda's like, I'm gonna do this while living. It's the closest thing he gets to oneness without dying, but it's incredible. I think that's how he communicates.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I can picture a storyline where, you know, Quinlan Voss is lost and lonely. He's lost the love of his life. He's fallen. He killed his best friend. You know, all of that stuff, and then Order 66 happens, and I see that breaking him. And I see him drinking a lot, being in taverns and stuff. But
Yeah.
you know, eventually finds his way to touches an object, and it leads him to a Jedi temple, and then he goes there, and then he hears Yoda. You need to follow a different path, and then he's like, the paths, and then he helps bring little force sensitive kids and keeps them safe.
Amazing.
Damn.
Write it.
All right.
Print it.
All right.
Ship
Print
it.
it. Come on. Make this a fucking book, please.
Come on, that's Dawson.
Yeah. Cal.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that that's primarily what Yoda is doing on Dagobah in general, is communing with the Force and just hoping and listening for someone, somewhere. And it's not, and because in the episode, it's not until they get inside the temple that Yoda even says, you know, and they start to actually, you know, really commune with the Force and kind of put their whole self into it, that he's finally like, now I can see you. Like, before I couldn't. And I feel like personally that's due to the temple itself.
Okay.
Allowing them to really put themselves out there more to be seen. And just their vulnerability alongside that. And just kind of listening to the Force in that moment. So I would imagine that in other temples or other kind of ley line Force areas, that it would be a similar situation where Yoda would be able to reach out, I would imagine.
I think it's a combination. A combination of what Cal said, but also, you know, Kanan had also cut himself off,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, like, temples can be definite, like, amplifiers, but he definitely, like, was not
Running
you
away.
know,
So
Yeah.
so then in that sense, do you think at some point Cal Kestis will have that moment with Yoda?
Mhm.
You think? In Jedi Survivor?
Or maybe the
Yes.
book.
Yeah. Honestly,
Oh, yeah,
I
the
was
book. Yeah, I forgot about
I
that.
was legitimately surprised it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well,
True.
so really the only time that the biggest time it would have happened would have been on Dathomir, And it might be that since that planet's more steeped in darkness, that
No, that makes sense.
Yoda wasn't really.
Well, what about the
but
first
that was the
planet that you
time.
go to? Isn't that a Jedi temple?
It
Or is
was,
that
but there
that's
wasn't.
a Zepho?
It was the Zepho temple, but it
Okay.
Bogdan?
was still.
Yes.
Yeah, it was still a spot where he wasn't really communing with the Force in any way. He was trying to find something.
Yeah.
No, that's
Whereas in
He didn't need him.
Dathomir, yeah.
Well, Cal's connection to the Force was also damaged, and you spend the
Mhm.
whole game repairing it.
that's true.
And it's not until you're on Dathomir that you really have that vision with Jaro Tapal and stuff like that. That's a time that it could have happened, but hopefully we see something in Survivor.
Awesome.
I always say that Yoda shows up when you least expect him, but when you most need him.
Yoda is never late.
Nor is he early.
early for those wagons. He just
When you need him, precisely.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for my story segment. Now we're gonna get into
Lance.
How are ya?
segment.
This is where the fun begins.
Lance is
Hey! Don't do that. Come on now. Not today.
All
No
right,
one makes fun
Callus
of
is
Yoda.
mid. Callus is mid.
With that,
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Yes, the Death Star is uncomparable to the Force. So, we're going to dive into the lore of Path of the Jedi. And the lore today is about Jedi temples. Yeah, Jedi temples. There are a lot of Jedi temples across the galaxy. But I'm going to name a few of them, such as Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple on Ossus, that we see in Book of Boba Fett and hear about in Shadow of the Sith. The Temple on Tython from Mando Season 2. The first Jedi Temple on Ahch-To, and most notably the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. And each of these Jedi temples had a unique feature about them that made them stand out from the rest. They have their own type of Yoda cave in a way. So the Rey mirror scene. Then you have the one on Coruscant with the Sith Shrine, and you have Grogu on the stone on Tython that expressed a unique feature within that Jedi temple that made it different. So, in this episode, we see the Jedi temple on Lothal and the history that lies within it. If you are able to build a Jedi temple on any planet that enables you to express or showcase a unique ability with the Force, where is it, and what unique ability would it be?
I would build a Jedi temple on a gas planet, like Bespin, and it would be floating. And the only way to get there is to fly.
That's interesting. I mean, would there be floating landing platforms, and then you would just have to do an Anakin jump on Mustafar and jump about maybe 100 feet,
Yes.
and then stick the landing?
It would be a platforming puzzle, for sure.
Nice.
Okay.
That'd
Very
be
game
nice.
developer esque.
So, so is that the unique ability that you would show from yourself through the Force? Because I know that temples are able to show things from the Force that aren't really seen outside of the Jedi temples.
Yeah,
So
it would also be the feature of trusting the Force, because I think thinking as a game designer again, there would be a part where you can't reach it, but you can walk to it.
You just
But
give
there
a whole
wouldn't
new
be
meaning to the
anything-
word trustfall.
Yeah, there wouldn't be any ground to step on, but you couldn't reach it with the jump. You certainly couldn't fly there, like I said, but you have to trust the Force. And when you take that first step, then the platforms are rearranged to meet your feet.
That is cool.
That is
Yeah.
some philosophical shit right there.
That sounds like something
A
loaded.
floating Jedi temple. Do you know how sick that would be?
That is loaded great.
Especially on
that's
Bespin with the scenery.
That's literally what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Hereth,
I
say
was
it.
totally
Say
having
it, Hereth.
flashbacks to that.
That's something loaded in Greatstorm when it came up for Val. He'd be like, "All right, time to do this leap of faith."
I mean,
Spoiler alert, RIP.
It's giving Elden Ring vibes of like, okay, jump off of this thing and
just
because
hope.
there's an invisible platform that you can't see, and the only way you know where it is that people die on it.
So you can see blood.
All right,
That's awful.
Brandon, where would you put a Jedi Temple, and what special ability of the Force would you be able to do there?
Yeah, I think it would have to, showcase that same type of belief. So I'm actually thinking for mine, and hopefully I'm not stealing this from Cal's brain.
We will find out in
Shall
due
see.
time.
It would be like a pit of fire, but the flames don't burn hot.
That's not what I was going with, but it's really cool.
Huh.
That's good. That's very good. It's a test of fear.
Yeah, so you have to walk through the fire and the flames, and then Dragon Force plays over the
Yeah.
background.
You gotta go through the fury of the storm.
And it's called, and that part of the temple is called the Road of Resistance. That's a Baby Metal reference. So. Dragon Force helped write that song.
They just come out on the stage and they're like ready to go.
And then you have
All-
J-pop idols dancing
Yeah.
around you as you cross it.
all of a sudden you hear Fire and the Flames play.
And Fury of the Storm somehow mixed into one
Jesus,
song.
Jesus. Oh man,
That's incredible.
that is awesome.
The only
When it enters to play guitar
Alright,
with a
let's go.
plastic clacking guitar.
If they
geez,
stop
yeah.
We've got
headbanging
that.
now, they will burn. Jesus Christ! My God.
My God.
All right, let's stop making fun of Choco's
I
test
No,
of
I thought it was
courage.
pretty.
I'm here for
Oh
it.
yeah, no,
As somebody who likes fire, I respect that.
I respect that.
the Jedi Temple from the scene in Spy Kids 2 when they're falling in the volcano.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no, why are we
Johnny Cash's
falling?
Ring of
And then
Fire
they,
playing.
all right, it's a ring of thumbs.
Oh, no, that's haunting. Can I go back and redo my new fear? That's it. It's just a bad time.
Oh man.
oh god, that's funny. Cal, where would your Jedi Temple be, and what awesome ability of the Force would you be able to do there?
So I think something that's a little more abstract that would be interesting would be a temple that is really in a place it shouldn't be.
Like the
Like,
sky?
no, not even that. Like,
Burger
I'm
King
saying
bathroom.
like have a Jedi temple on Nar Shaddaa in the middle of a trading district, where it's a very
Ooh.
subtle temple that you have to know it's there,
It's
and
incognito.
really
Yeah.
all it
Gracchus
is
the
is
Hutt's
about
is pulling up like,
kind of, but it's all about taking in life, like the life of people, and the individual song of every person, and being able to hear how every living body harmonizes. Because I was thinking either that or like on like a jungle planet in a storm or something like that, but the same thing with just more with like the animal communion and stuff like that, where it's reaching out through the Force and just sensing the life itself, and really kind of being the eye-opening teaching moment of like how big the world is, how big the galaxy is, and stuff like that. I think would be not necessarily a skill per se, but just be it, feeling how the various citizens of a large galactic city, how their moods change to whether it's to try and barter a deal or get something that they want in some way and stuff like that, and just kind of feel the ebb and flow of life, emotion, and feeling and stuff like that, and learn that it is very nebulous and that it is something that you can detach yourself from.
wow, that's very well
like
said.
I like the jungle one too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I get like I don't know why everything like gets deconstructed into a level for me, but I'm just imagining like points in the day where herds will stampede through and block your path. But it's not to find your timing to go through. You have to go into the herd and you have to like commune with an animal or ride on their back and go through with them.
God
Do
damn
the
it.
Assassin's Creed
so the
crowd
block-
pushing
God
when you're walking.
Yeah,
Damn it.
the path is blocked when there's
Pull on
no,
your
like,
antler
herd.
hood.
Yeah, test your force speed too.
Yeah, it would be like
you
Grogu when he was jumping on top of the beast on in Luke's temple on the water when he was just like wow wow.
But I also just love the concept of like a temple hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
That it's like this is a place of force attunement, but it's so crowded and surrounded by other stuff that like no one's gonna pay mind to some person sitting in a robe in a corner, right? Because there's
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people and stuff like that, but it becomes this space
Well,
for growth and understanding.
Well, that's
So
kind
I'm-
of like the Lothal Temple, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's literally in plain sight. It's just.
Well, that just
looking
gives
like
me an
everything
idea for a temple that is in plain sight. Like you have this like Nima outpost. There's just huge marketplace, and in the middle of it is just a pagoda where just like Jedi are just chilling. You know,
That
it's
would
an
be cool.
it's an outdoor open floor plan.
I feel like you could see that in the High Republic. Like
Yeah.
Phase 1 High
For
Republic.
sure.
So I'm kind of like on this elemental kick right now, where now I'm picturing, and it's partially because I mentioned Elden Ring. My mind is picturing, on one part there's like a big tornado, and you can lie down in this thing and it passes over you to get inside of it. So like that would be the first thing is you get through the wind. Then you'll like go inside of a structure and there's a staircase, but the whole ground is on fire, but the fire doesn't burn you. So you walk through that and then you go up to a pool and the doorway is at the very bottom of the pool. You have to swim down, not knowing what's on the other side
Yeah.
and knowing that if you go that deep, you know, you don't really, you have to commit in order to
It's a one-way
get to
trip.
it. And just adding elemental themed elements is now
And
what
then
I'm
you
thinking.
become the Avatar. Now it's
Another
got all
thing
four
to add to
elements.
that too
And the
is
center
that
is
it is water you can breathe in, but you don't know that. So it is so deep.
Yeah.
You have to trust yourself, and then like at some
Realize you're
point
gonna fail.
you're going to like get inside your own head, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. And then like if you trust yourself, and you open yourself up to the force, and you take that first breath right before the door, and you're like, oh, I can breathe.
So
I'm okay.
now I have the headcanon of the Dyad and the Force creating this Jedi temple pre-High Republic for future
Oh,
Jedi.
no. Oh man.
Now a story has to be written.
Yeah.
We just have the ninja.
Okay,
warrior Jedi
sold.
temple.
I'm. Oh, okay. I legit have an idea now.
Oh,
So
No,
many
I
ideas.
wanna-
I love
uh,
it.
Reddit.
I want to do
Go.
a Jedi based Star Wars 5e where everyone plays as Padawans with different skills and they go through their Jedi trials.
How fast can you
Delicious.
write that?
I'm it's got to happen now. Also, it's
I
really
will-
easy to make characters in Star Wars 5e. It's not
Mhm.
the best system for it, but
I can also lend assistance
There you go.
or just play in it.
hey.
Whatever.
Um,
Invite myself in.
No, hey, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Might as well.
We just
might-
get all of us here. We're just
Them.
like, because you're here first.
But if I were to do one, I'd have it on Kashyyyk, and it would be kind of in the base of like it would be kind of like the Lothal temple, but it would be a temple within like the largest tree.
You'd have to lift up the tree.
Well, no, but it in
Yeah,
each
the trunks
level.
of Rashir is like akin to like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
So you could definitely within it like hollow out a tree.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how
yeah.
that
I
would
was just
sit
saying
with the
like
Wookiees,
the
but
temple on the
Yeah.
fall.
If I put one on Kashyyyk, I would put it in the middle of Kachiro Beach. Just in the middle for all the Wookiees to come by and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or I'm sorry.
Or swing going.
or a combination of both. Hey, how you doing?
That's the High Republic version.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
One of the main
Wookiee.
one of the main reasons why I asked where is because every single Jedi temple has like its own different setting. Because the one
Yeah.
on Coruscant is in the middle of a skyline. The one on Octo is a stranded island. The one on Ossus or Osis, whatever you want to say it, is in the middle of a forest, and the one on Tython is on top of a mountain. So it's like it has like its
like
own
Fry's Electronics.
yeah. Yeah, I think that having the right biome is important for what you want to teach for the Jedi and where and the lessons that will follow. So I really like the idea that it's in the sky, it's in a very foresty area, or it's you have to go through these trials in order to find it. Just very similar to what Kanan and Ezra do to open up the Temple on the Fall. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm loving all of your ideas. If you have any more, go ahead and say it, because I mean, you guys have been going pretty wild.
We could brainstorm for
It
days.
is a fun thought experiment.
It is.
I love how we
Be
went
like, come up with
with
a new temple.
I love how we went fun thought experiment, and then we had fear factor. There's just like we're just going all the
Hey,
ranges.
Hey, you gotta make it interesting. But
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add to your Jedi temples or thoughts or?
No,
I think
it's
I'm good
perfect.
for now. I'll be saving
mine-
that for,
yeah.
for myself.
Zero issues.
Yeah. The
I'll
brainstorming
keep it
will
close to
remain.
the chest until Lucasfilm Games hires me, and then I can make a Jedi Temple, Jedi
Ew.
Academy reboot game.
With Ray.
Yes.
Yes,
With
with a whole bunch of trials and stuff
that'd be cool.
in VR.
Also, everyone who is in here hasn't dropped a like on this live stream, go ahead and do that right now. If you are enjoying yourself, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that too. I would really appreciate that, and so would Luke and Hereth. I believe that every one of us is
Well, yeah.
enjoying your company.
I
So-
did it
Yeah.
already. Why haven't you done it?
Yeah. All it takes is one click. Just go.
It's click. It's free.
And then
It looks
hit
like
the bell.
this. No,
Make
no,
sure
it
you
looks
hit
like
that bell,
this.
though.
Looks like it doesn't look like this. It looks like this. Remember
We can
that.
do that too if you want, but this
Bro,
is
I mean, you could dislike it. That's up to you. That's your prerogative.
Well,
I don't
okay,
like it.
well, if,
I mean,
if,
speaking.
if, okay, no,
Char, go ahead.
Luke. If she drops a dislike, then we can't show it.
Oh yeah, because you can't see it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm sure she
This
dropped a
episode
like.
We all
Go
just,
ahead and
like,
pull up the
follow.
banner
All
for
All
Far
right,
Far Away
go
Factory.
Go ahead, Char. You got it. You got it this week.
Do I got it? Yes. Okay, so with
Oh,
B
okay.
Dazzler being a part of our stream now, we have to shout out her website, farfarawayfactory.com. She makes a bunch of different apparel, shirts, earrings, stickers, anything that you can name of for Star Wars, DC, Marvel, and so many different universes. I'm pretty sure that will be making some House of the Dragon merch, as she has said before. She might be making some Damon merch, and you never know.
Targaryen.
But yeah, if
Team
you want to
Green
go find
versus
her,
Team Black.
yeah, if you want to find her, her TikTok is _BDazzler
Always bet
_
on black.
her Etsy, Instagram, and her website at farfarawayfactory.com. Go ahead and check her out and see what good stuff you can find, because there's full of them. There's
She's got
so much.
cool shit.
I wish I had it on right now, but also like she made my Satil Shan shirt, and it's
yeah, custom
incredible.
merch.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
and, yeah, and she did my Vader shoes. So.
Are you wearing those?
Yes, as I'm actually making a hi, my name is Aemon Targaryen.
Yes, yes.
So,
That's
yes.
hilarious.
As I said, hot D merch will be coming.
Yes, love it, love it, love it, love it. But back to the podcast.
But just for me. Ah, come on. Share the love with everyone.
Well, it's perfect for them.
No, it is perfect for her because she literally
That
looks
TikTok
like a
made
younger
me do
age.
I
a
like
spit
the-
take at work.
I like the
It was
just for me stuff. I mean, I have the only Satil Shan shirt, so
That's fair.
But she's got to share that hot D, you know?
Oh my god.
What do you mean by
Listen,
that?
not
Just
everybody
says it
wants
and
to share
stays
that.
quiet.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Okay, now we're
Char's
diving into the innuendos.
Oh Jesus!
We're covering all genres, really. Horror,
We have
All right,
theory
Char.
crafting, innuendo. It's a whole package.
Deep dive into our fears. You know,
fear.
just
fear.
just another Thursday night. Here on the
Deep dive
Public
into our whole
Podcast.
package.
This whole episode so far is the 3 Fs: fear, fun, and farce.
That's not where I thought we were going. All right, cool.
Oh Jesus!
Love the hot D.
Oh my God! All right, Char, is that it for your lore?
That is it. That is it.
All right, and now we're into.
Let's go to the
Hereth's
interconnectedness.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
All right, let's hop right into the interconnectedness. So, again, mainly these two came to mind while watching the episode for the most part, and the main one that came to mind was when Kanan sits down and the door starts to close, and he tells Ezra the advice that Depa told him of like just trust your feelings, you'll come out on the other side. And Ezra's like, how do I do this? Like I don't even know what you're talking about. He's like, trust me, I didn't know. And that instantly sparked an idea in my mind. If Tales of the Jedi got a season 2, would you want to see a Depa Billaba Caleb Doom story arc like are we getting for season 1 with like an Ahsoka arc and a Dooku arc, and have it go into their entire past?
Duh.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
hard stop.
my mantra is always more Star Wars is good Star Wars, but Kanan is like one of my favorite characters, if not like my favorite Jedi. So, yes, please.
I'm gonna say no.
Ooh.
Can we
Well,
get
well,
Brandon?
okay, let me
Billaba.
bring it back. It's not that I don't want to see it. It's like I wouldn't want to see it, but her relationship. So we're gonna see Dooku and we're gonna see Ahsoka, right? And they span a long period of time. Depa Billaba didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with Caleb,
Mhm.
at the time. And so, if we're exploring their relationship, I would want it with people that had kind of a longer standing. Although it would be cool to see Kanan in his, F-boy days where he was like, I don't know if you guys have read A New Dawn, but it's great.
Can I modify my
Yeah,
What-
Kanan
my
was
question
in
We
was-
the
just have our
Dooku.
cake and eat it, Choco. Why you gotta be like,
Brandon.
if we're gonna see stories, it's gotta be longer
We see
relationships.
Kanan so
like-
sad for so long. Let's have him be a little happy boy for
I
a break.
want to see him learning Sarisu from Depa Billaba.
Brandon,
Yes.
what if
And
Deepaw Billabong.
I want to see Mace, learning from Kislin,
Well,
to
and-
how to channel his aggression.
I think to Hereth's point, it would just be a small arc with those two.
Yeah, it would
But
be an
I could
episode.
see there being a lot more with her background as well, with some of the other masters in the
Hmm.
past and stuff like that.
that's what I was
Okay.
literally going to say. It would be like one episode with Caleb and Depa's exactly what he says in this Rebels episode, and then we go back further and it's Depa and Mace, and then we go back further to her as a Padawan. So it's like youngling, Padawan, Master. So it's just
Oh,
like-
and it's all about Depa specifically. Then
Yes.
then yes, absolutely.
I see Finding Halcyon said more Voss and Ventress. But as the conversation was going on, the idea of having a very long spanning relationship would be the focus of the stories. And I really think Voss and Ayla Secura would be a good story.
You know what? I'm all gonna agree with Finding Halcyon. Look, because if we, that would be a beautiful way for them to tell that story that was meant as a Clone Wars arc.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the same way where it's doing Ahsoka and Dooku, you do separate ones for Asajj and Quinlan, and then the final episode is them.
They come together.
But
Mhm.
she has a really
Jedi.
interesting story of being raised as a Jedi, and being a Padawan and
that's
going on
another
missions
good
and
one.
stuff, and then dropping to the dark side when her master dies. Like, I think that would be.
They could do an entire season that is just Tales of the Jedi, Dark Disciple.
Yes.
And have, a big section that is Asajj as a Padawan in her past, and then, you know, a little bit of Quinlan in his past, or just some of his other shenanigans he gets into. And then it could end, you know, from halfway to the end just being the story that is Dark Disciple.
Yeah, and we do see a little bit of Asajj Ventress in her flashbacks as a young Jedi when she was reuniting with the Night Sisters, when she watched Kyneric get killed, and she fell into a frenzy. And we haven't seen anything else of that other than snippets from Dooku Jedi Lost, and that's about it. So I would love to see more of that.
I'm glad
Definitely
I
love
just
to
finished
see-
that book today.
An episode back on Kifex where, you know, Quinlan is like, you know, at a shrine with a whole bunch of items that he has communed with via psychometry and has learned how to be himself throughout the past. And then he grabs a specific item and he sees Vildar Mek and his story. Spoiler alert for issue 1 of High Republic.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, you say this, but that's also reminiscent of the book Force Collector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's good content for it.
There you go.
Again, diving into the next question of another moment that kind of stuck with me that eventually I'm turning into a question of at the end when the temple kind of collapses and Cain and Ezra turn to each other saying like, they're like, let's hope the temple lives far enough beyond us to our death. So do you think if we ever eventually for Lucasfilm they ever like greenlit, which I'm not even gonna say eventually because we like it's never gonna happen because it's gonna happen, of a film or a show about Rey's adventure as like a Jedi Master of her rebuilding the new Jedi Order, would you want to see her implement like Lothal into it? Because Lothal's a strong connection to the Force.
But
And then it gets
temple's
wrecked.
gone. Yeah. Yeah, it's gone. Remember?
It was excavated in season 4.
Yeah, and then it disappears. So it's no longer there.
Unfortunately.
But she could find the ruins.
Yeah, and like there is still more to it than the temple itself.
That's very true.
So it is still a spot where they could rebuild a new temple.
And that was just what I was thinking. If that's where she establishes her new school and builds there, you know, I mean, we it just seems very likely that all of the, you know, virgins in the Force, when they're found, that's where they decide to erect the temple. So potentially the virgins could still be there or could return if it was gone and build around it again. That'd be
Her,
cool.
Je-
That's what I'm
her
thinking.
Jedi temple will be in the sky.
Yeah, build it over it, right? No.
And if you listen to Echoes of the Past, that's where Finn gets his kyber crystal. They go back to Lothal, and there's this hole in the ground because it's been excavated, and they go through the new tunnel system that's been made via Loth wolves and other things that have, you know, reshaped the ruins. Check it out.
I knew as soon as I typed that, Pep was gonna be like, "Well, because of the Force, this is what happens."
I think
Side-
one interesting thing too is the connection with animals at that location as well is pretty huge.
Yep.
Just in general, and especially with like Ezra as well, and I think that's kind of partially due to him growing up on Lothal and kind of having that connection. But we also see that with Rey a lot as well. So I think that would actually be a really cool place for that. And then they could also just take some of the excavated, you know, structure, art, stuff like that from the temple and use that in the rebuilding of it too. But I think it'd be pretty sweet. I would like to see that.
Brandon, you were gonna say?
Oh, I was just like, just a random idea. I would love it if someone like Finn feels a calling to a location, and he goes and he finds a crater, and that's where he finds his crystal. Because when Starkiller Base imploded, it then exploded, sending kyber crystals or anything that was left on the planet Ilum out in all directions.
That's fair.
I think that might be
'cause
cool.
You can't
That is
because you
really
can't
cool.
really destroy Kyber, can you?
I don't believe you could destroy it in that way, but I mean, you certainly could send it into a sun and it getting out of there. But
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Galen said that it's a really lengthy process to just even facet them.
Yeah. Well, I think also we do see them be unstable in Rebels later. But then also with Kylo cracking his, I don't think you'd be able to crack something if it wasn't able to be broken.
he cracked it with the Force, though.
So you can break it with the Force then.
Did we just get rated?
Okay.
Did we just get rated on Twitch?
Maybe.
Hey, Zell.
Hello.
On time no see. How you doing?
It's been a while.
Yeah, Zell
Oh,
said she
yeah,
was
we
gonna
did get
stream
it.
earlier, and then I
Been a
went and she
while.
wasn't streaming.
Yeah, it's been a while. Bastard. Oh, man. I'm pretty
On
sure-
my feet again.
Again.
This is the
Been a
concert
while.
portion.
Yeah, it is. It
We
is.
just
Like, literally, I love the fact that I'm just like, did we just get braided? And then Hereth just goes, did we just get braided? Oh, well, hey, we're not very popular on Twitch, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Hereth, anybody else got anything else for that question? No? Nada?
No, I think we're all set. I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone else. So.
I think Pep is right.
I concur.
Agreed. Hereth, so is that it for
Yeah.
interconnectedness?
that covers my segment.
All right.
There's a little bit more interconnectedness. The world
Interesting.
between worlds.
There,
Yes,
that was
okay.
there.
Okay, I was gonna bring that up in my story thing, but then I didn't want to take it from Hereth because the last couple episodes I've been
I
putting
was
it in
gonna
story
bring it
and he's-
up, but it was like an obvious one, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what can I really talk about
So-
there? There's a lot of world
The
between worlds.
sparklies
So,
from Clone
like,
Wars.
That was also something I was gonna bring up, but I was like, at the same time, it was like, there's nothing I could really write a question about.
So here's my question. I guess I could throw at you guys. Okay, so do you think Dave Filoni had the world between worlds in his mind from this episode, or do you think he had it even before then?
Before.
Before, yeah.
Oh, it was before the show was
Do-
made.
Do you think it was after oh god, I'm blanking on the name.
The ones.
Yeah, father, mother,
Wills?
daughter.
Oh no, the Mortis gods.
Mortis.
Yeah.
Do you think he had that kind of epiphany for after Mortis, which is based? What it's kind of based on?
No, way before. So the concept of the world between worlds was birthed from the Nether, which is in the Return of the Jedi annotated screenplay. Like George Lucas says there is a Nether where your identity flows through after you die if you die on the light side. And that concept is where the world between worlds came about. So it's like the Virgin Scatter, the Nether, and I think from there they needed a place where all of the identities of those who had transformed into the Force lives. It is a place that is outside of time, and I think that idea has been there since that conception.
Oh, so that's interesting. So there was a foundation for the world between worlds, but nothing was created
They-
upon it until
Yeah.
Rebels.
it-
Interesting.
And what I love about the show is I love how it's constantly hinted throughout all 4 seasons until it shows up. Like you said, it shows up in this episode. There's a season 2 reference. It shows up in all the seasons right until season 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, both Dave Filoni and Pablo have made it clear they have their own secret files where all of the secrets are laid bare, and they're like, but we'll never explain it because the story
Yeah.
is better if we don't.
Yeah, and Dave Filoni is a
Flashbacks to
master
Celebration.
planner too. Yeah, well, I mean, we all saw at Star Wars Celebration when he came up with the idea for Tales of the Jedi. Like he was just sitting in his plane writing ideas, and now we're waiting for 2 weeks.
I still are gonna mention. I love the moment during the Tales of the Jedi panel, and he's like, "I always get asked what's gonna happen next. I never get asked about what happened before." Carter screams out, "Where's Ezra?" And he got the whole crowd going.
Jesus.
And I just
All
love
right.
him like
All right,
getting up
all
close
right,
to his mic.
all right.
I
Hold
know.
Hold on. Hold on. Let
That's
me
rude.
be the one. Let me say this loud and clear. Carter Dybert did not start that. There was somebody that had said it before, but Carter said it louder. I will give Carter that credit. He did say it louder than the other person. Just saying.
We can also add to the interconnectedness. What I said earlier was like this one episode dispels every single Jedi misconception. You know, the concept of letting go, the concept of indoctrination, where he's like, "Oh, tell you everything your master must," and he's like, "No," and he's like, "Your own path. This must be."
Yeah.
Yeah, just like everything about what Ezra goes through and what Kanan is going through, both of them are telling you this is how Jedi are taught. They're not told what to do, right? The wrong question, that is. And, you know, everything from critical thinking to arriving at your own conclusions to letting go, to overcoming your fears, to being yourself and choosing your own path. Everything about and also at the when Ezra comes to the realization of what he's there for, Yoda was like, feel. Yes. So emotions. Stop saying they teach repression. They always taught people to feel. And that's the end of that.
Search out with your feelings.
Yeah. And I also have a little bit of interconnectedness too. So there was a line said in this episode that reminded me of what Obi-Wan told Luke in episode 4 with, your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them. And then when Ezra asks Kanan for help to find the temple, Kanan simply says, don't look, listen. And that was just like, boom. And that is perfect with what happens in the future with Kanan, with how he's blinded and then he sees the Force in a whole new way now.
Yep.
Because he's just listening.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, but like Ezra sees Kanan die here,
Yeah.
and that's something he's gonna have to see happen, but be able have the strength and the confidence to still continue to fight afterwards.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which I'm just curious because I mean, the likeliness of seeing Ezra in Ahsoka is pretty much confirmed at this point.
I mean, he's been casted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's also kind of deep about it as well is you see how quickly Ezra kind of bounces back from Kanan's death during this, but later we see how hard it hits him because that much time, that much growth, and that much connection between the two people has happened in that period of time. That I don't know, like I don't think it's intentional, but I think it is one of those things that just seeing the difference of Ezra's reaction from then to now just shows how much, you know, their connection as master and apprentice really grew from here as the starting off point.
Oh,
Yeah, and for Ahsoka, when Ezra does show up, what if there's a scene where he speaks with Force Ghost Kanan? Because in The Rise of Skywalker, Kanan does speak as a Force Ghost.
I would probably die.
Same here.
I mean,
I would be you at the end of Kenobi.
You get up and you're like,
Oh, just me like this. Just hold on.
Well,
oh god.
I don't think so. Okay. Oh, he's not listening. So I don't think Kanan was a Force ghost. Kanan's identity latched onto the Loth Wolf. And that's why that wolf is known as Doom. And this is the thing with another. This is the thing with the World Between Worlds. The Loth Wolves can go to and fro in the World Between Worlds. And so what happened is Kanan doesn't have the training. No one trained him to, you know, corporealize his form. But he died on the light, sacrificing himself. So selflessness, light in your heart, that serenity is criteria. His identity persisted in the nether, or in the World Between Worlds. Loth Wolves traveled through, his identity latched on, and so his will can be associated with that wolf. And so I think in Ahsoka, if he runs into a Loth Wolf and gets to, speak, like puts his forehead to that Loth Wolf's head, and we get to hear Kanan's voice through that, I think that would be even better. Because not everybody's a Force ghost. I just have to say.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
also think live action Loth Wolf when.
Dog,
Yes.
that
So
was...
Yeah, and then also
I would
hearing
actually
Freddie Prinze
probably
Jr.
I'm sad you brought that up because I really hope that happens now, and if it doesn't, now I'm gonna be sad.
You're welcome.
Aw.
Yep. Yeah. So, Jar, ready?
It's time. 3 interesting facts about a certain Rebels arc that you didn't know about until now. I feel like we need to change that because it's like you're saying the thing that I'm about to say.
That's
so I'm
what
like,
I was about to say.
you're well aware, but I mean, they don't know what number of these facts are going to be. All right, so as said in the clip, 3 interesting facts about a certain Rebels arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 7, Path of the Jedi Edition. Fact 1, the original title of the episode. The working title for this episode was called Enlightenment. Fact 2, characters' supposed appearance. An early version of the story included Old Joe and Vizago being involved in Ezra's search for a kyber crystal, but as the spiritual core of the episode expanded, the script was streamlined to focus on the events within the temple. Fact 3, Ralph McQuarrie back at it again. The ancient script etched into the walls of the Jedi Temple is derived from a Ralph McQuarrie illustration of an ancient Yavin temple that he painted for the Illustrated Star Wars Universe, a book released in 1995. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about Path of the Jedi.
Can I add a bonus interesting fact?
Sure.
This always hit different during my Rebels rewatch because I noticed it in the credits and I was like, oh my god, no wonder I have such an attachment to this particular Rebel episode. So it was directed by Greg Weisman, who is the showrunner of Young Justice and Spectacular Spider-Man fame. So that's why. So I was like, as soon as this episode was over, I was like, this is why I love this episode.
Oh.
Interesting.
Very nice.
Interesting. But guys, that is going to be it. Thanks, people, for first of all, thanks Zell for rating us on Twitch. Appreciate it. You're a real one, Zell.
Yeah, we love chaos. More chaos than before.
Which, by the way, glad to see that she is doing better and she's making content again, because we have missed her. At least I have missed seeing her face and her content. So.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
been
guys
a
aren't
while.
Following her, go follow her content on her Twitch and on her YouTube. She does awesome reactions to stuff. So go check out her stuff out. But
Yes, thank you, Zell.
Yeah, thanks, Zell. We really, really appreciate it. We got 17 people in here as the episode is ending. Dang it.
And
Yeah,
only
for those of you who are in
14
here, go
likes?
ahead and drop a
Come on.
like on the stream, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Bellum128 who came from Twitch to YouTube, and now they're on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Thank you.
That
Wow,
is
dedication.
force.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
That is an
Absolutely.
overachiever.
But we'll go down around the table. Cal, where can the good people follow you again?
Wait, you forgot to rank the episode.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to rank it.
Ha! We got 17 people towards the end, and I almost forgot the ranking. Ha ha!
Yes, it's not over
Joke's
yet.
on you. It's not over yet. Anyway, we're going to start with Cal anyway. So we're ranking the episode, Cal. Bad Ensign, okay Lieutenant, good Captain, great Admiral, Chef's Kiss, Grand Admiral. And everybody in the chat, go ahead and rank them as well.
As somebody who is just a huge fan of Rebels, canon and Ezra and all that, already ranked super high. But Force lore, the return of Yoda, even only in voice, and just the messages this episode tells, the story it tells, and kind of like Pep was saying, how it really does showcase how the Jedi really are. For me, it's Grand Admiral. I think it's like a must-watch episode from Rebels.
Oh, we lost Hereth.
I was going to say. So, wait. Go back, Cal. What was yours?
Oh man.
It was well said.
No.
For
Just
me,
tell me your ranking. I heard everything
Oh.
else, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Hereth was gone.
For
Yeah,
me,
don't worry. Yeah, we heard
because
everything.
it is a mandatory watch from Rebels, for me, it is Grand Admiral.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
There you go. There you go. Choco.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to also give it a Grand Admiral. I mean, I asked to be on this episode for a reason, without knowing who else was gonna sign up. But I also kind of know, you know. But it was so beautifully told, and I love the concept of how people go through these Jedi trials, and they are tailor made for what they need to go through. And getting to experience that alongside Ezra, like this is a load bearing episode for sure. When you look at Ezra's growth, this episode is the catalyst for it. This is the biggest step that he takes towards his ultimate destiny. Plus, he makes a lightsaber Glock.
He
Yeah.
does.
He does make a lightsaber.
Multi
Glock.
tools are great.
Yeah.
And Yoda shows up and he's like, I have no idea who this is.
Who are you?
Yeah. Pep.
Yes,
So
that's my ranking.
that's your ranking is yes.
Yes,
You're
it's a
not-
Grand Admiral. I'm a
Okay,
Force
okay.
lore guy.
Yeah.
It's got everything the Jedi are supposed to be, and it's Yoda. Yoda's my favorite character. Everything that Yoda touches is just chock full of wisdom and profound clarity for anybody that is showing, confuzzleness, which is Ezra at this episode, and Kanan also. I like that in this episode it was a combination of both trying to grow. It wasn't just a lesson for Ezra. It wasn't just a test for Ezra. It was a test for Kanan too. And I love those episodes.
And you finally got on an episode before like the second to last season. you got on early instead of.
This is as Josh was saying, this is like season 3 Element.
I'm back. I've died before.
Oh Jesus!
It really is though too. I was going through episode 1 to 10 of Dyad in the Force. Gosh.
Oh.
It's season 1 was so. I mean, it was great, but it's like
Night and day.
so much has changed.
Yeah, I
had to do. We did like their final quote unquote final episode.
Jesus, you were cutting in and out of there, buddy. Are you okay?
Yeah, big time.
Are you in the world between worlds?
Possibly.
Yeah, are you in the nether?
Are you
Got
in the
him.
other? Hereth, your
Perhaps.
ranking real quick.
I said it, Grand Admiral.
Oh, okay, yeah, Grand Admiral. Char.
It's almost unanimous. I'm gonna say Grand Admiral and Luke
I'll go
for our
Grand
first
Admiral as well,
our
for
first
Grand
Grand Admiral arc on Star Wars Rebels is episode
Everybody
10
get
of
it, there
season
you
1,
go.
Path of
There
the
you
Jedi.
There you go.
I want you to mark this down, Luke, because in Clone Wars we had a pretty tough time remembering all of the Grand Master.
I'll put it next to the. We'll have to go back and in the doc we'll put it down so that we
Well,
can see it.
When we get to the end of Rebels, I have to do it again.
Yeah, so it's not
Yeah.
just our first Grand Admiral arc; it's the first unanimous Grand
Yeah.
Admiral arc. Because I know that
Yeah.
there's some that do have different opinions, but we have all given it a Grand Admiral, and that makes me happy because this episode deserves it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But guys, that
I see Chris in the chat being wrong. That's fine.
Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say,
He gives it
I'll
a
give you
lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Yeah, I've noticed that. I just don't get that. There's no F in it. Not lieutenant. It's lieutenant.
Okay,
Anyway.
but explain
You
Colonel.
should search the etymology of the term. I think you'll find the left in there.
Okay, we will do that later.
Don't do it.
So yeah, Luke's like,
But-
why did they say schedule? Why is the C even there?
Yeah. Anyway. That guys, that's gonna be it for the episode. Thank you everybody in the chat. Our 3 awesome guests here. I really, really appreciate you guys taking your time out of your night. Y'all are the best. You guys have inspired us to be the best people that we can be, especially in this community. So I want to thank you guys. And I want to thank everybody that has subscribed and has watched the podcast from the very beginning. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us. Now the goal is 5,000. That's the real goal. 5,000. Let's see if this thing's got some legs. We'll see. But real quick, Cal, Element, Choco, where can the good people follow you?
Underscore Element7 underscore on TikTok and Twitter. Extra underscore at the end for Instagram because people, I don't know. YouTube.com/Diet in the Force. Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. This week we have My Only Hope on TikTok, Series on TikTok, and the return of series veteran AJ Starkiller.
Nice. What
That
an
episode
awesome
is a
lineup.
can't miss.
Yeah.
It's a callback. Sorry.
Cal?
Well, like I said earlier, you can find me pretty much anywhere on any platform at Calforer. And just after this, we will be going live on Twitch, which is primarily where I am. I'm just going to be doing some more horror games, continuing a game that Pep actually gave me on stream tonight. So we'll see if
I will be
actually get
tuning
scared
in.
tonight.
I will be tuning in after Rop.
Yes, Rob.
But I can't wait for you to continue that game because
It's very good.
I suggested it to get you the spoops, but I did not know you were going to enjoy that much, and I'm glad you did.
There you
It's a
go.
really, really, really fascinating game, but
If you like Cal's stuff, go over and hit the subscribe button on his Twitch. It's definitely worth it.
no, you don't have to
Especially
subscribe. That's
espe-
paid for there. You can follow there.
Or you can use your
Follow-
Amazon
follow
Prime subscription and
Amazon
do it for
Prime.
free.
Do that. If you got Amazon Prime, give it to Cal.
Give
Give it to Cal.
Give Cal all
Give
the
him
love.
all the
He has
monies.
great
Give him-
great Twitch streams.
Yeah, give him all the monies, especially when he does the drunk streams. Give him all the monies.
Oh, yeah, my liver needs it. For the hospital bill that's inevitable.
Like I have for 8 months straight.
Choco, where can the good people follow you?
Yeah, Darth Choco on TikTok, Darth Choco on YouTube, Darth Choco 7 on Twitter. And yeah, I'll be rocking on the High Ground Podcast Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And we're going to have Brian of Pink Milk. We're going to have
Yes.
Beth, our Star Wars, our other Star Wars lawyer, and a third guest, which has needs to, get in touch with me. But Seth Godwin normally does financial stuff, but is going to be joining us as well.
Awesome. Hereth?
You can find me at Hereth Productions on TikTok, Instagram, Hereth_edits on Twitter, and you can find me here at Slaving Away Editing for the Pod Ones podcast.
Yes, sir.
Slaving
Char.
away.
Hey,
What kind of work conditions do you guys promote?
He gives me a cookie every once in a while, Pep.
Yeah, hey.
A cookie.
Yeah, hey, you gotta. Hey,
It could be
and
a
it's
really
all-
big cookie.
Yeah, it's a very big cookie and it's from the heart. Okay, that's all
Eat
that
that
matters.
cookie.
Okay. Char, where can
It's
the
a
people
big
follow you?
cookie and it's from the heart. What is this, Edward Scissorhands? I mean, what's happening?
We need to do a Bleach episode? Yes. You guys need to. Oh, man.
Yeah, I need to get
I
to
might
that.
have
I'm
to
sorry,
do a
Pep.
Bleach episode. I don't know if you guys watch Bleach.
I will soon, I
Nah.
promise.
I haven't. Maybe I'll start watching. Char, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CharCharJ, as spelled right here. And you can find me here at the Pod Ones Podcast every Thursday night as we cover our Star Wars Rebels rewatch. Next week for episode 67, we'll be talking about Season 1, Episode 11, Idiot's Array. That is the Lando Calrissian episode. So check this out next week. And you can watch me on Sunday here at the Pod Ones Podcast as we have our House of the Dragon
Us.
watch along.
Us, sir. I am a part of this too.
And sometimes Darth Choco. and
sometimes
Calforer.
And Hereth.
Who
Guess
knows?
what?
Maybe I'll be there.
I'm
Oh yeah,
gonna be on
Hereth
this
will be
week.
there. Hereth will be there this Sunday. So yeah,
Wait, Cal.
Yes.
Anyway.
I mean, I wish I could be there. I film on Sundays.
Ah, yeah. Dang. Well, hey, always season 2, because we know we're getting at least 4 seasons of that fucking show.
Yeah, but I always film on Sundays.
Yeah, but get it all done in the morning and then take a nap and then come hang out with us. Come on.
Plot twist,
No,
they
like, we
just
film
they watch
into the
on
night.
Saturdays.
Come on,
It
man.
really
They just
is.
changed
It's
the
a
channel
bummer,
name.
But
But you guys can follow us at the Pod Ones Podcast on TikTok, the Pod Ones Pod on Instagram, and Pod Ones Podcast on Twitter. On to the next one.
for light and life.
Oh shit! I was supposed to say that. Yeah.
Luke is just a mess
whatever
today.
Element said.
you forgot about the ranking, and now you're forgetting about our outro. How dare you?
Hey, we're
Failure.
close to 1,000. My stress level's all the way up. Okay, give me some slack. For
Yeah.
Life
So
for
once we hit
Life-
1,000 subs, everyone, 12-hour live stream. We're doing
yeah,
some
12
stupid
hour
stuff.
live stream.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
Okay, for life.
We are all the Republic.
And may the force
stress
be with you.
you.
Always.
Always.
Yeah. Goodbye.